Yo guys, it's Safe Bear. Welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to the channel today. Yes, we are back with another match preview for, yes, you guessed it correctly, Brighton versus Chelsea. The game we literally played last week at their ground again. We're playing again 5 days later. We're playing Brighton again. It's the Brighton versus Chelsea match preview. So before we do get into it, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so notified every time I upload a video. Also, the first link in the description of my streaming channel and my second channel. Go and check those out. It'd be very much appreciated. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it because, you know, we're going to talk about last week's match, you know, what I expect from Chelsea this week, you know, all this type of stuff. You know what I'm trying to say? And you could argue tomorrow's fixture versus Brighton, obviously at their ground, you could argue it kind of means more because the league means more in a sense than an FA Cup. Let's be real, both teams weren't going to go on to win the FA Cup. Brighton went through, but they're not going to go and win the FA Cup. That's not me saying it's not a big game either way. You know what I'm trying to say? Any cup competition game is a big game. But for us, in a way, Champions League is more important than getting an FA Cup, in my opinion. Just my opinion. So this game means a bit more. Does that mean it's going to change the result or change the performance that we saw last week? Who knows? Who knows? But we're against Brighton. Brighton are a team that are in our way tomorrow. The data rivalry. I've been seeing a lot of people saying this. The data rivalry. The data derby. You know what I'm trying to say? Brighton, who do the data thing way better than we do. And then you got us. That's the reality of the situation. That's the reality of the situation we're in. But the league table says different because we are currently higher than Brighton in the league. We are only just about in the top four. A loss tomorrow could take us out of the top four. More than likely can take us out the top four. There's only a few points separating from fourth all the way to like 6th or 7th. There's only a few points being separated there. So it's very, very tight in that way as well. So a win tomorrow is an absolute must. Will it happen now? Who knows? You have to see at the end of the video for my match prediction after I've given you the lineup I want to see for tomorrow. But if we're playing anything like we did last week against Brighton in the cup, if we play anything similar to that, we are not winning tomorrow. If we do, and let's be quite brutally honest, last week was atrocious and an absolute travesty. It was an absolute travesty. It made you want to cry. It's like watching two bald blokes fighting over a comb. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know what I mean? Like, weird analogy, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's sad. It's saddening watching that performance because I think what hurt more is the fact of, you know, we've given Brighton so much money. We've taken a lot of things from Brighton. You know, one of their managers, loads of their recruitment, loads of their players, stuff like that. You know what I'm trying to say? The recruitment staff I meant. And yet we still don't beat them. We still didn't beat them. We still didn't get past that line. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's absolutely unacceptable. That performance last week, look, if we lost and we played really, really well, we just got unlucky, then I think I would have been less angry. I would have seen the bigger picture. You know what I'm trying to say? But the performance last week was disgusting. There was probably 2 or 3 things. I can count on one hand on things that were good about that game. And 3 fingers I could probably count with as well. It was awful. And majority of it came in the space of the first 5 minutes. That was the only time where we looked decent. Which just it's not good enough for a club like Chelsea Football Club. We should be striving for Champions League football. Champions League football should be an absolute must. You know what I'm trying to say? I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was projecting it the other day. When we used to get top 4, it wasn't a guarantee the manager would stay. If we got top 4. There's been many times we got top 4 comfortably and the manager got sacked. You know what I'm trying to say? Now we're in acceptance of not getting top 4. Fans are there like, oh, if we don't get top 4, we'll try again next season. Or it's more likely we'll get it next season, so we'll give this season a little bit of a miss if it doesn't happen. No, 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 no. We've not had Champions League football for 2 years. We're not going 3 years without it now, man. We're not going 3 years without it. So, I don't know. It's just a thing that I thought about it. And I've already said it before, I'm not Maresca out. I don't think Maresca is the big problem in this situation. He's not. He's probably 2% or maybe 5% of the problem in this situation. But if he doesn't get top 4, then we could maybe start having conversations and maybe he's not up to scratch. That's just the reality of the situation because we should be getting top 4, especially the way we started this season. We started really, really well. Anyway, are Brighton the rivals to our top 4 hopes? Not really. I saw a lot of people going, "Oh yeah, but we didn't use our full first team last week and stuff like that." I don't think Brighton did either. I'm not too sure. I don't think Brighton used their first team as either way anyway as well. So like, I don't see it as I don't see it as an excuse. The way we lost last week, I don't see it as an excuse. So I'm expecting a much better performance tomorrow. Much better performance. I'm expecting a bit of a stronger team as well. We've obviously heard in the press conference today that, I think it was today or it was yesterday, one or two, that Maresca has came out and said Jorgensen is now my number one. Thank God we've got clarification there. Thank God we've got some clarification. Jorgensen's my number one. That's what I want. That's what most 99.9% of the Chelsea fan base want to hear. Jorgensen is the number one. Thank God. Also speaking about the press conference that Maresca did, he said that Reece James is fit and available. And what made me worry is the fact that we weren't seeing him in training photos, but today it's been pictures that he was in training. So Reece James is going to be there tomorrow, which is really, really good to hear. Jackson is out until April. This is another talking point I wanted to bring up in this video. Jackson is out until April, so we've got no striker until April, if we're being dead honest. We've got to deal with Nkunku as a 9, or Maresca said, got to either have Madueke as a 9, Palmer as a 9, or Tyreek George as a 9. Come on. Come on. Just look. Just stick Nkunku as the 9. If that's going to be the case, just stick Nkunku as the 9, because he's played as a 9 many times, even before Chelsea. At least he somewhat knows and isn't a novice to the role like a Tyreek George would be, or a Madueke would be. You may as well just keep him as the 9. So it's a bit annoying the fact that we ain't got a striker. That ain't on Maresca. That's on the bloody idiots at the top. So that's another thing. But will that affect the performance tomorrow? I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see. I think it can affect the performance, the fact that we ain't got a 9 there. Even though Jackson was at a box threat, he could do other things that was good from a 9 point of view. You know what I'm trying to say? So the fact we ain't got any of that tomorrow is a bit concerning, especially with the fact in the last game, judging off how Nkunku played against Brighton in the last game, there's many times where we'd whip in a cross and Nkunku wasn't even there. He was outside the box. Or we'd cut in a cross in the box and then Nkunku would be outside the box. Or we'd build up the play and then Nkunku would be on the halfway line. You know what I'm trying to say? That's the only bumming part of the situation with Nkunku as a 9. You know, we just have to make do what we got to do. You know what I'm trying to say? And is that manager's fault? No, that's not manager's fault, in my opinion. But Nkunku's got to be switched on. He's got to be switched on tomorrow. If he wants to really prove himself and push and stay at Chelsea, show his quality and show that he's not a flop, then these are the games where he's got a complete clear in terms of there's no backup striker, there's no main striker. He's got a complete clear pathway to show his ability at Chelsea. Now's your chance to show it. So we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. Anyway, like I said, team news, there's not much else really there. The players that are out are out. We know this. It's a known fact. And the players that are available. So obviously your Wesley Fofana and stuff are out injured. Badiashile still recovering. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump straight into the lineup I'm going to go with for tomorrow's game. So the 11 I'm going to go with for tomorrow is going to be right here on the screen. Philip Jorgensen in goal, Marco Correa left back, Tosin Adarabioyo and Trevor Chalobah as your 2 centre-backs, Reece James as the right back, Enzo Fernandez-Caicedo double pivot, Pedro Neto off the left, Cole Palmer in the 10, Madueke off the right, and then Nkunku as the ST. Now let me tell you the reason why I chose these players in this team. So Jorgensen in goal obviously has to be. I don't want to see Robert Sanchez in goal again. For the club in general, full stop. For the simple fact, I don't think he's good enough. He wasn't at fault for the last game against Brighton. He wasn't at fault for that game. But I just want Jorgensen in goal and Sanchez gone. I think I've reached my limit with Sanchez either way. Marco Correa inverted into midfield, obviously from left back into midfield. Reece James as a right back into right centre back. Marco Correa has to play, the only available left back we've got at the club. Again, that's another thing on the owners. I do think his form has dipped in the past couple of weeks, but he's still relatively consistent and not bad. He's not been doing bad in the last couple of weeks when his form has dipped. It's just a bit average, that's all. Tosin Adebayo, Trevor Chalobah, 2 centre-backs. Why have I chose these two as the 2 centre-backs? I think these are our best 2 centre-backs in terms of balance for a defence. I think they are. Like, I don't think Levi Colwill is that ability that people are putting him up to be. And I would love to be proven wrong about Levi Colwill, but I'm not seeing it. Tosin Adebayo, Trevor Chalobah have both put in the best 2 defensive performances I've seen from a defensive pairing this season. And that was against Wolves. Like, they were very, very solid against Wolves. I want to see them 2 in at centre-back again. They have to be. So I'm going to go with those 2. Also, as well, with Levi Colwill, he was at fault for the last goal, or was that the game before? I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. So I'm going to go with those 2 as the 2 centre-backs. Reece James as a right-back into right centre-back. Obviously, Reece's Reece. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm hoping the more game time he gets, hopefully, he's just going to get fitter and fitter and fitter. That's my fingers crossed. Because when Reece James is fit, he's the best. I'd argue one of the best defenders in the world. Not right back. We know the best right back in the world. We know that. But as like a defender is all-round ability, I think he's one of the best in the world. Top 5. So, Reece James at right back. Enzo Fernandez, Casado double pivot. Again, obviously, these 2 are our best 2 centre mids as a partners. They both didn't start the last game. Casado started the last game. Enzo was on the bench. So, they've got to start this game, obviously. Pedro Neto off the left. I also thought we looked better when Enzo came off the bench. I thought when Enzo came off the bench, it looked like we had a bit more control in the midfield. Without Enzo there in the midfield, the dictatorship isn't as smooth as what it usually is. Sometimes it's a little bit rushed, you know what I'm trying to say? And that's nothing on Casado. It's just not Casado's job usually, you know what I'm saying? So, Pedro Neto off the left. I'm going to go Pedro Neto off the left instead of the right. For the main fact of I'm going to be dropping Sancho. I think Sancho in the last game against Brighton was really, really... I like Sancho. I think he's been doing really, really well. I think when we do buy him, it's going to be a good buy, 25 million. I think if you talk about how he's been performing, his value of the way he's been performing this season, I say was about 35, 40 million. In this market, I'd probably say that. So 25 million isn't bad. It's a good buy from that standpoint. But the last game, he was pathetic. He was. And Pedro Neto wasn't any better, but the crosses he was putting in were chances. There were chances. He was putting crosses in. He was getting successful with some of his take-ons. I would just go with him off the left tomorrow, because obviously Sancho wasn't good enough. And I'd also give Madueke off the right. I think Madueke, look, I know a lot of people in our fan base don't like him. I think some people just have an agenda. I think that's what it stems down to. But the one thing you can't doubt about Madueke is his take-on ability is brilliant. It's just his final product, the final quality. He takes a shot when sometimes he should pass. He takes a pass when sometimes he should shoot. He shoots too much often than he passes. But there's one thing you can't doubt about him is he creates chances. He's had like the 3rd or 4th most touches in the opponent's box and stuff like that. You know what I'm trying to say? He gets in the box. He makes it exciting. He creates. That's something we missed and lacked against Brighton last week. So let him have the role tomorrow. Let him play off the right. Let's see what he does. You know what I'm trying to say? So I'll go him off the right. He also combines perfectly with the number 10 I'm going with, which is Palmer. They have a good chemistry together. So Palmer, obviously in the 10, has to be. He was quite poor last game as well. I think everybody was poor last game. So I'm just hoping it's not as bad as it was then. But obviously to partner Palmer, up front is going to be Nkunku, obviously. Again, we've got no other strikers. Nkunku is the only viable option we should go for as the ST. I just really want him to drop a good performance because I like Nkunku. I really do. I was begging for this guy to join Chelsea because the quality this guy possesses is brilliant. He's a world-class player. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing the effort. I want to see a bit more effort, even in the last game when he was playing. And they were passing around the back. Sometimes he could have pressed their goalkeeper and he didn't. He was just jogging lightly and then walking. Press him, make a mistake. Goalkeepers can make mistakes all the time. I need to see more effort from Nkunku. I need more effort. If he doesn't bag a goal but actually puts in effort, it looks like he's actually tried, then it's some sort of step forward in the right direction in the way, innit? But, like, ideally, we need one of our strikers to bag a goal, man, because we're leaking in terms of leaking goals and not getting goals. So our front line's got to be firing at some point. So let's hope that starts with Nkunku. Anyway, that's the lineup I'm going to go with for tomorrow. Let me in the comments down below what you would go with. So, score predictions tomorrow. Brighton versus Chelsea. I've got to be honest, I'm not confident. I saw that result last week. In a way, it's going to be quite a similar lineup to what we did last week as well, except from with the inclusions of Reece James, Madueke, hopefully, stuff like that. Reece James is a nailed-on one that's going to happen, especially with Enzo Fernandez too. He's a nailed-on one. I know there's a few inclusions in there, but I'm not confident. I know Jorgensen's in net this time, but I don't think Robert Sanchez could have done much with the goals that he was faced against last time. Don't think you can pin that on Robert Sanchez. I'm not confident, especially with it being at Brighton's ground again. A week after a cup competition in the league this time. These lot are going to come in with loads of confidence and they're going to be buzzing. They're going to be buzzing, and I got a feeling we're not going to like that, and we're going to shy away from it because the other team are going to be really confident. Thing is, I know this type of game we are suited to. We are suited against these type of teams that like to come at us, full froth, come at us. We usually counter-attack and do well against these type of teams. I've seen it this season. I've seen it. But I'm just not confident. I'm not confident. Not after last week's performance. It was only 5 days ago, remember? Look, I hope it's Uno reversed. I hope this result is Uno reversed. I've got to be honest, I think we're going to lose 2-1 again tomorrow. I think we're going to lose 2-1 again tomorrow. I hate to say it, but I think we're going to lose 2-1 again tomorrow. And like I said, I hope it's Uno reversed and we win 2-1 tomorrow. But I don't know. I just think it's still in the back of the players' heads. And it's in the back of Brighton fans and their players' heads. Brighton fans are going to be up for it, man. You know that they have some sort of an agenda against us. So they're going to be up for it as well. So anyway, let's hope that isn't all true. Let's hope Chelsea get the result tomorrow. Chelsea, prove me wrong. For the love of God, please. Anyway, that's it for today. Let me know in the comments down below what you all think. Let me know your predictions as well. Hit the bell notification so notified for my video an hour after the game tomorrow, so you're ready for my match review. See you then, everybody. Take care, like, subscribe, and peace.